The train screeched like a wounded animal as it slowed to a stop, steam hissing into the cold Kansas morning. Iron wheels groaned against steel rails, and a cloud of coal smoke drifted over the platform, settling into coats, hair, and weary lungs. Tristan Cole stood a few steps away from the passenger car, hat low over his eyes, boots planted firm in the dirt, as if the ground itself needed convincing. He belonged there. He'd escorted cattle through blizzards, guarded payrolls through outlaw territory, and slept more nights under stars than roofs. But nothing had prepared him for the sound that followed the train's halt. Children, not the carefree shouts of play, but thin, uncertain, murmurs, whispers edged with fear, coughs that spoke of long nights and poor food, soft crying quickly stifled. Tristan's jaw tightened. 27 orphans, bound west for families they'd never met, carried on a promise as fragile as glass. "Hugh," Tristan Cole, a man in a pressed coat, asked, stepping down from the platform with a clipboard tucked under his arm. "That's me. You'll see them to Nebraska. Church-sponsored placements. You're paid to keep them safe. Nothing more." Tristan nodded once. He didn't need the rest spelled out. "Don't get attached. Don't ask questions. Deliver the cargo." Then he saw her. Ana stood at the train door, one hand braced against the frame, the other resting protectively on the shoulder of a small boy clutching a threadbare cap. She wore a plain brown dress, dust already clinging to the hem, dark hair pulled back in a loose braid that refused to stay neat. Her eyes, sharp, steady, and unafraid, scanned the platform like she was counting exits. Dangers and possibilities all at once. "And who might you be?" she asked, stepping down without waiting for assistance. The man with the clipboard cleared his throat. "This is Miss Ana Morales, volunteer escort." Tristan raised an eyebrow. "Volunteer?" "Yes," Ana said evenly. "Meaning, I'm not here for the money. I'm here for them." Her hand tightened on the boy's shoulder. The child leaned into her, as if she were the last solid thing in a shifting world. Tristan had met women like her before, soft-spoken, carrying storms behind their eyes. The kind that didn't back down just because the world expected them to. "I'll be handling security," Tristan said. "Roots camps, trouble, and I'll be handling the children," Ana replied. "Food, comfort, tempers, fears, and anything else you overlook while watching the horizon." A corner of his mouth twitched, despite himself. "Sounds like we'll be stepping on each other's boots. Only if you don't watch where you're walking." Behind them, the children were being ushered off the trains, some holding hands, others clutching small bundles that contained everything they owned. One girl, no older than 6, stumbled, and Ana was there instantly, kneeling, murmuring reassurance in Spanish, so gentle it slowed the girl's trembling breath. Tristan watched, something unfamiliar tightening in his chest. They set out before noon, 2 wagons, 1 supply mule, and a line of children, riding or walking, depending on age and strength. Tristan rode ahead, rifle across his saddle, eyes sweeping the plains. Ana moved among the children, adjusting blankets, settling disputes, singing softly when the youngest began to cry. By dusk, they made camp near a stand of cottonwoods. As Tristan built the fire, he noticed Ana dividing food carefully, ensuring the smallest were served first. She hadn't eaten yet. "You should," he said, handing her a tin cup of coffee. She hesitated, then accepted. "Thank you." Their fingers brushed, brief, electric. For a moment, neither spoke. The fire crackled. Children slept curled together like puppies, safer than they'd been in days. "This trail isn't kind," Tristan said quietly. "Bandits weather, worse." Ana met his gaze without flinching. "Then it's a good thing they have someone willing to stand in the way of all that." He nodded slowly. For the first time since taking the job, Tristan understood this wasn't just an escort. It was a promise, and somehow, against iron rails and endless plains, that promise had already bound him to Ana Morales. Morning came softly, carried on birdsong and the crackle of dying embers. Tristan rose before the sun, as he always did, scanning the horizon for movement that didn't belong. The plains stretched wide and empty, but he knew better than to trust quiet. Trouble often rode in on silence. Behind him, the camp stirred. Ana was already awake, kneeling beside a little girl with tangled curls, coaxing her into swallowing a few bites of porridge. She spoke in low tones, patient and steady, never rushing, never scolding. Tristan watched from a distance, struck by how naturally the children gravitated toward hers if they'd recognized safety in her before she ever said a word. "You're staring," Ana said, without looking up. He cleared his throat, just making sure no one wandered off. "No one will," she replied. "They know better than to leave the circle." It caught his attention. The circle. She finally looked at him, eyes calm but firm. Fear keeps them close. Trust keeps them together. Tristan nodded slowly. He'd always relied on fear of his gun, his reputation, the consequences of crossing him. Trust was a rarer currency on the trail. They broke camp and moved west again. The older boys helped gather wood, proud to be useful. The younger ones rode in the wagons, bouncing along rutted paths. Ana walked most of the way, even when Tristan offered his horse. "I need to be with them," she said simply. By midday, clouds rolled in, low and gray, bringing a sharp wind that cut through coats and spirits alike. One of the boys, Ana, had told him lagged behind, limping. Tristan slowed his horse and dismounted. "You hurt?" he asked gruffly. Eli shook his head too fast. "I'm fine, sir." Tristan crouched and saw the truth boots worn thin, heel rubbed raw and bleeding. Before Tristan could speak, Ana was there, kneeling beside them with a cloth and salve pulled from her bag. "You don't have to be strong all the time," she told the boy gently. "Just honest." Eli's lip trembled, but he nodded. Tristan felt something shift again, another quiet crack in the armor he'd spent years building. They made camp early that night, the storm threatening rain. As Tristan secured the wagons, Ana organized the children, assigning small tasks to give them purpose, holding lanterns, stacking stones, watching the fire. Later, thunder rolled across the plains like distant cannon fire. Several children cried out, bolting upright from sleep. Ana gathered them close, pulling blankets around small shoulders, humming a tune Tristan didn't recognize. It wasn't fancy or loud, but it worked. One by one, the children settled. Tristan approached. "Uneasy. Storm will pass," he said. "No flood risk here." "I know," Ana replied, "but they don't." He hesitated, then said, "I can stand watch closer. Might help." She studied him for a moment, then nodded. "Thank you." As rain began to fall, Tristan stood guard at the edge of the firelight. The children slept in a tight cluster, Ana sitting among them, refusing to lie down herself. Hours passed. The storm softened. "You should rest," Tristan finally said. "I've got this." Ana shook her head. "They wake easier if I'm not here." A beat passed. "You ever think about what happens when we reach Nebraska?" Tristan asked. "Yes," she said quietly. "Every day." And foreign, she looked at the children, her expression a careful balance of hope and fear. "I think about who will love them, who will keep their promises, and who might not." Tristan swallowed. "You don't trust the families." "I trust some," she answered. "But trust should be earned." The words lingered between them. At night, as the rain stopped and stars reappeared, Tristan realized something unsettling. The responsibility he'd taken for pay had grown heavier and more personal. Ana Morales was the reason why. The trouble came on the fourth day. Tristan felt it before he saw Itha prickle between his shoulders, the sense of eyes where there shouldn't be any. He reined in his horse atop a low rise and scanned the trail behind them. Dust hung in the air longer than it should have. Riders. He turned and rode back hard, signaling Ana with a sharp whistle. She looked up instantly, reading his face before he spoke. "Wagons tight," he said. "Kids in the middle now." Ana didn't question him. She clapped her hands once, clear and commanding. "Everyone, just like we practiced. Stay close. No running. The children moved fast. Fear sharpened into obedience. Ana ushered the smallest into the wagons. Older boys forming a nervous ring, the way she'd taught them, hands linked, eyes forward. Tristan rode out to meet the threat. 3 men appeared over the rise, rough-looking rifles slung careless, but ready. Not outlaws in a hurry. These were men who expected to get what they wanted. Afternoon. One called, "Mighty fine day to be traveling with such valuable company." Tristan's voice was flat. Roads closed. The men laughed. One spat into the dirt. Church trains carry more than prayers. Cowboy supplies. Sometimes money. No money, Tristan said. Just children, that's so. Another rider leaned sideways, trying to see past him. Shame heard folks pay good coin for strong ones. Something cold settled behind Tristan's eyes. He lifted his rifle just enough to make his meaning clear. Turn around. Behind him, Ana stepped forward. "Tristan," she called. Calm but firm. "Don't." The men noticed her then, and the children clustered close, wide-eyed and silent. The first rider smirked. "Well now, ain't that sweet? Lady in orphans. Wouldn't want anyone hurt." Ana walked past Tristan before he could stop her, standing shoulder to shoulder with him. "You will leave," she said, "right now." The men laughed again. Ana didn't raise her voice. She reached into her satchel and pulled out a folded paper. "These children are under church protection. Any harm done will bring federal charges. Marshall's prison. You may scare men who ride alone, but you won't scare me." Tristan glanced at her, surprised. The paper might have been nothing, but her certainty wasn't. One rider hesitated. Another shifted his rifle. Tristan cocked his gun. Silence stretched thin as wire. Finally, the lead man cursed under his breath. "Not worth it," he muttered. "Come on." They turned and rode off, dust swallowing them whole. Only then did Ana's shoulders sag. The children burst into whispers, some crying, some clinging to her skirts. Ana knelt arms wide, gathering them in, murmuring reassurance, until their breathing slowed. Tristan dismounted, heart still pounding. "That was reckless," he said quietly. She looked up at him. "And it worked. You could have gotten hurt." "So could they," she shot back. "I won't hide behind you when they're the ones at risk." His jaw tightened. "I'm paid to protect them. And I'm here to make sure protection doesn't turn into distance," she replied. "They need to see someone stand for them." The words hit deeper than the rider's threats. That night, the camp was subdued. Children slept closer than ever. Tristan added extra guards, pacing until moonrise. Ana approached him near the fire, voice low. "I'm sorry if I overstepped." He shook his head. "No, you were right." She studied him. "You didn't have to agree so easily." He exhaled. "Guess I'm learning." She smiled faintly. "So am I." For the first time, they shared the watch side by side. Rifles resting, the firelight painting their shadows together, between the sleeping children and the vast, uncertain trail ahead. A line had been drawn in the dust, and both of them had chosen which side to stand on. The wind carried the scent of rain across the plains, and Tristan knew they wouldn't outrun it. Dark clouds rolled in low, heavy with threat. He rode ahead to scout the trail, the wagons and children following behind under Ana's careful watch. The sky threatened, and even the children seemed to sense it, whispering anxiously as they huddled under blankets. By mid-afternoon, the first drops fell, sharp and cold. Tristan urged the wagons to a stand of cottonwoods and ordered the children under the largest trees, where Ana moved among them, hands brushing, hair patting shoulders, speaking softly. The smallest ones clung to her skirts, the older ones holding hands and helping each other stay calm. Tristan tied the horses under shelter and returned, water dripping from his hat brim. Ana looked up from adjusting a blanket around a shivering girl, her face streaked with mud and rain, but eyes steady. "Everything all right?" she asked, though the curve of her lips betrayed exhaustion. "Just wet," he said gruffly. "Nothing more." But Ana didn't buy it. She tilted her head, studying him. You've been quiet since the encounter yesterday. You're holding something." He hesitated, the storm's wind whipping around them. "Just thinking about Moat," she pressed gently. He finally let his guard slip, voice lower than usual. "About how easy it is to get attached. How fast you start caring about things you're supposed to just deliver. And then you get scared to see them hurt." Ana studied him in silence, understanding without words. "I feel the same," she admitted. "Every child here is someone's hope. And sometimes hope is the heaviest burden." The rain came harder, pounding the leaves in the wagons, washing dust into mud. Tristan and Ana stood close enough that the chill didn't matter. The storm around them paling beside the tension between their words. "I'm not used to having someone like you on my side," Tristan said. "Someone who refuses to step back, who refuses to let me do this alone." Ana met his gaze, eyes steady and warm. "And I'm not used to trusting someone so capable, someone who doesn't just talk about protection, but actually stands in the way when it counts." He swallowed, heart thudding, "I think. I'm glad you're here." She smiled, small and almost shy. "I was hoping you'd say that." The wind howled around them, but for a moment they didn't notice. Tristan reached out, brushing a wet strand of hair from her face. Ana's hand lingered for a heartbeat on his forearm, grounding him. "Promise me," she said softly. "We keep them safe, no matter what." "I promise," he said. Conviction steady, no matter what. They returned to the wagons as the storm began to subside, mud sticking to boots, wet hair plastered to faces. The children were calmer now, lulled by Ana's quiet reassurance and Tristan's unwavering presence. Night fell, and they lit the fire, damp wood snapping and sending up thick smoke. Sitting close to the fire, watching Ana check on the sleeping children, Tristan felt a strange warmth in his chest, a bond stronger than the trail, stronger than fear. He realized that protecting these children wasn't just about duty anymore, was about standing together, sharing the burden, and trusting someone enough to let them in. As the night deepened, Ana leaned against him lightly, almost imperceptibly. Tristan didn't pull away. The fire crackled, the children slept, and outside the circle of their makeshift camp, the plains stretched endless and wild. For the first time, Tristan let himself believe that maybe, just maybe, he wouldn't have to face the trail alone. And maybe, just maybe, he'd found someone worth standing beside no matter what the journey ahead held. The final stretch of their journey lay before them, rolling hills, dry prairie grass, and the distant promise of Nebraska's welcoming towns. The children had grown accustomed to the rhythm of the trail, their steps steadier, laughter easier, and trust in Tristan and Ana unwavering. Yet both escorts knew the hardest part wasn't the miles behind them, it was what lay ahead. Tristan rode beside Ana, the sun casting long golden streaks across the plain. For the first time in days, he felt the weight of the trail ease not from distance, but from shared responsibility. Ana glanced at him, a small smile tugging at her lips, despite the fatigue that lingered under her eyes. "You've changed," she said quietly, nudging her horse closer to his. "Me?" Tristan asked, raising an eyebrow. "How so?" "You care," she said simply. "And not just because it's your job." He looked away, stirring up dust with his boots. "Maybe I'm learning from the best," he admitted. They rode in silence for a while, watching the children trot behind, in the wagons or on foot. Older ones keeping pace with younger ones, laughter carrying lightly on the breeze. Ana's presence was a constant reassurance, and Tristan felt an unfamiliar comfort in sharing the burden with someone who not only matched his determination, but softened it with care. Mid-morning, they encountered a shallow river crossing. Tristan scouted ahead while Ana guided the children through, her voice calm and steady. Little feet splashed in the cool water, eyes wide with delight and fear. While Tristan helped the wagons navigate the slippery stones, by noon, the Nebraska town appeared on the horizon, a cluster of buildings, smoke rising from chimneys and townsfolk waving in welcome. Tristan reined in his horse, a lump in his throat. The job was nearly done, yet he couldn't shake a gnawing sense of something unfinished. Ana approached, placing a gentle hand on his arm. "You did it," she said softly. "We did it." He glanced at her, taking in the dust on her dress, the tired shine in her eyes, and the unwavering strength she had shown every step of the way. "We did," he agreed. Together, the children began to scatter toward awaiting families, hugs and tears everywhere. Tristan watched them go, relief washing over him. And then, as if the universe decided it was time, Ana slipped her hand into his. "Tristan," she began, voice barely above a whisper. He looked at her, feeling the heat of the sun and the weight of everything they'd endured together. "Yeah, I don't want this U.S. to end just because the trail does," she admitted, heart racing. He squeezed her hand, a grin tugging at the corner of his mouth. "Neither do I." For a moment, the world shrank to just the two of them, dusty plains, wagons, laughter fading into distance, and the warmth of a hand held tightly. Tristan knew the trail had changed him, and Ana had changed him. He could face bandits, storms, and endless miles, but standing with her made every danger worth it. As the sun dipped low, painting the town in gold and amber, Tristan and Ana rode side by side, hands entwined, hearts lighter. Children safe, journey complete, and a bond forged in dust, rain, and shared determination. And as the town's gates approached, Tristan couldn't help but whisper, "Maybe this is the start of a new trail, one we ride together." Ana smiled, resting her head lightly against his shoulder. "The only trail I want." The plains stretched wide behind them, endless possibilities ahead, and hearts entwined in a promise stronger than any train, river, or storm. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more Western stories.